Today we're going to be going over some of the best performing designer fragrances you can buy as we're heading into 2026. This is obviously taking into consideration what you can purchase right now, not the forecast new releases that are going to be coming up soon, which quite a few were announced, which I'm looking forward to. A couple new Dolce & Gabbana the ones and stuff. Maybe they're going to fix that performance. But what we have here is just scents that have already been out. Okay, these are already all on discounters. There have been plenty of data back behind these to where the general consensus is they do have good performance, right? And they definitely do on me. So that's why they're in this video. I'm going to drop links to everything that I talk about today down below in the video description. That way, if you want to pick any of these up at prices below retail, you can do so. Now, this first one is going to be from Prada. They don't really have necessarily too many beast mode scents, but this is one that does perform really well. It's Luna Rossa Ocean. This is the Le Parfum. You get that nice maroon gradient up top into this darker bottle down below. Really sharp looking presentation. And this is one that I absolutely love the smell of, but you don't really hear about it all that often. This one has oak, saffron, amber extreme, and some lemon, which is kind of an oddball. And to be fair, I don't really pick up on the lemon. However, I do pick up on the notes that I just listed off there. Nice woody oak accord. The amber extreme is essentially giving you this kind of slight ambroxan fuzziness to some extent, but what that is also doing is giving you that longevity, giving you that base, that nice strong aroma chemical base. And then the saffron, a nice warm spicy accord. That note's used quite a bit, and every time it does show up in a scent, it's usually pretty easy to pick up on, and it usually provides a lot of value to the fragrance and kind of helps it to stand out a little bit, and that's the case here. And that saffron mixing with that oak, just that kind of woody accord in general, is a very common mixture that works great. And I've said this ad nauseum, and I'm not going to spend time on it, but these Luna Rossa Ocean scents are not oceanic, they're not aquatic, they're not marine, and especially not this Le Parfum version. So don't get too hung up on the name here. It's not maybe what you might expect given the name. It's actually kind of the opposite. However, that's why I like it, because it's something with a little bit of character here and something a little bit unique coming from the brand, and I love this one. In terms of the Luna Rossa Ocean lineup, the Le Parfum is going to be my favorite. All right, this next one coming in from Herrera is going to be a little bit more expensive. However, it is still technically a designer scent, and I wanted to feature it anyway because it is worth picking up if you can catch it for a good price and you like tobacco scents. It is Herrera Mystery Tobacco. So I think you're usually going to be looking at somewhere around $220-ish maybe for this one. And this is 100 milliliters. That's the full presentation price as well. And I'm going to check, but I believe, okay, it's an eau de parfum. I was thinking that maybe they would be a parfum, but they're not. They're an EDP. However, very, very strong. This one is beast mode. Iris Empire is also very strong. Bronze Tonka, a great performer. Platinum Leather. I'm basically going through and listing off all the ones that I have. And when I go down the list, they're all really strong performers. That's something that you don't really get that often. And yes, they're expensive, but it's kind of justifiable. You know, it's niche price and niche quality, you know, still from a designer brand. It's no different than the YSL tuxedo style of fragrance, or Dior has their higher end scents. I mean, every designer brand does. And what you do get out of these ultimately is great quality, great performance, and just a really solid blend. So this one does have tobacco. It has quite a bit of patchouli in here as well. Nice smoked red pipe tobacco. It kind of smells like a mixture between Mancera red tobacco and Parfums de Marly Carlisle. Is kind of an easy way to put it. This one falls somewhere in the middle, where red tobacco is very extreme, really strong tobacco with a good fair amount of oud as well, whereas Carlisle is a little bit more softer, less smoky in that type of way, and a little bit more sweet. And again, this one is just kind of there in the middle, best of both worlds essentially. So I really like this one, and if you like tobacco, you're going to like this. Next up from Versace, we have Eros Najim. Now, to be fair, you could go for Eros Parfum, probably even the EDP, and maybe even Flame, you know, if you get good performance out of Flame. For the most part, the Eros lineup is going to be solid. And you can't forget Energy. I mean, to be fair, Energy, being a fresh scent, is a pretty good performer as well. But Najim is very strong, and that kind of makes sense when you look at the note breakdown. As caramel, oud, cardamom, and incense, that is very out of character for Eros. When you look at all of their other pre-existing scents, they have played it very safe over the years, right? And this one kind of goes in a completely different direction, which is nice to see, and it smells amazing. This is the type of thing that I love. Smoky, sweet, smooth, a little bit gourmand, but we're not going too far down that path. There is plenty of smokiness and some other notes to balance out that, where it's not just straight up sweet and gourmand from start to finish. Ultimately, this one still does maintain some level of mass appeal and also some level of versatility for cold weather wear, which is respectable because, after all, Eros is kind of known for that. Compliment factor and just wearability when it's cold outside, although a lot of people have worn them in summer as well, right? But Eros Najim, another one that's a great addition to your collection. It's kind of one of those exclusive editions, but you can get it on pretty much any major discounter for around $90 to $100. Coming in at around, I don't know, 110, 115 from Gucci. This is Intense Oud. I brought this one up recently because of a scent that recently came out, or a clone that recently came out. Let's see if I can grab it here. This guy, House Viper. Okay, so because this was released and because there's so much hype behind House, you're probably going to be seeing Gucci Intense Oud coming up more, and you're probably going to be seeing Nascimento Black Afgano popping up more as well, because that kind of smells like both of those a little bit with some interlude. So this Gucci has oud, incense, and leather. It smells wonderful. Now, this one is intimidating on paper and just looking at the name, right? Because it's Intense Oud. And when you look at that, you're thinking, man, this is going to be strong stuff. This is going to be way out there. It's not just Gucci Oud, it's Intense Oud. However, don't even pay attention to any of that. This is such a mild oud. In fact, I would honestly say that you get maybe a more prominent oud accord out of something like Versace Oud Noir in terms of what type of oud that we're uncovering here. This one, it's a sweeter base scent, and the oud is there, but there's so many other accords going on to where it really does pad that note. It gives it plenty of other additional notes going around it to support it, whereas something like Oud Noir or Tom Ford Oud Wood, kind of a drier, earthier oud that doesn't quite have the sweetness surrounding it, makes it a little bit more strong. So this one is just very easy to pull off. A little bit smoky coming from that incense accord like you would probably expect, and then a nice leather note in here as well. But if you do want to play it ultra safe, because after all, some people do, and you know, that makes sense, this next one is going to be for you. It's Invictus Parfum. Okay, so first things first, the bottle is really cool. This is, I believe, where they introduced the new style angular bottle. And I believe now they're moving everything over to that, the new Invictus Aqua, Victory, and everything. I think even the original Invictus, kind of changing things up. And I like it a lot, actually. Kind of sharp looking, but really, really cool. Gold accenting up top. This one has marine notes, soap, lavender, and musk. So it's not what you would really normally expect out of a parfum. It isn't, right? You would think of something that's not soapy, but rather heavier. But they've done that already. They've done that with Victory. They've done that with, at one point, Invictus Intense. They discontinued it. And there's been a few other things over the years that have maybe gone in a bit of a different way. Instead, they went fresher. They went soapier and less bubblegummy sweet. Now, when you take away the fact that that's not a traditional parfum format, just looking at the scent itself, I love it. I think it smells great. I think this is a very, very good release because I'm personally not the biggest fan of regular Invictus. It's something that I've never reached for, right? I've reached for literally every other flanker except for that original pretty much, you know? And so this one is one that I do actually find myself gravitating towards and spraying on because it's just not so sweet. It's not so bubblegummy. It's not so loud and nearly headache inducing. It's smoother, it's soapier as you would imagine given the note breakdown. I just find it to be a lot more enjoyable to wear. And this one coming in at a parfum is a good performer as well. This next one I'm not going to spend much time on because it's obvious. Dior Sauvage Elixir, all about the sandalwood and the warm spices, you know, cardamom, licorice, cinnamon, nutmeg, all of that stuff, right? Very mature smelling, very classy, not your usual Sauvage smell, which is why I think a lot of people like it. That's also why a lot of people don't like it because it's kind of far out there, really, especially compared to the rest of the lineup. This is different. But when you look at it, and kind of the main reason why it's in this video, the performance is off the charts. This is an straight concentration, and just from the very beginning, I mean, that's why this one got so popular, in my opinion. One of the reasons is because, man, it is just one or two sprays and you're pretty much set up for most situations, right? And yes, it's expensive, but when you take a look at the lack of sprays that you really need to achieve good performance, you know, it's going to take you a little while to go through even a small 60 ml bottle like this. And they do have 100 mLs available, and they even just came out with, it's either a 150 or a 200 ml. Saw it on Jumbo Shop, right? So there are options if you really want to use this stuff a lot and you've got deep pockets, I suppose. But strong stuff from a designer brand that just knows what they're doing. Coming up next from Gucci, we have another Gucci scent, although let's say that Intense Oud was just still intimidating for you. You want something that's ultra safe from Gucci. Well, this is it. It's Gucci Guilty Parfum. I absolutely love this. And, you know, coming from Guilty Black, which is kind of dubbed as, I don't know, maybe a little bit of a basic or boring or generic release, they kind of had some work to do, right? Because it's like, well, they're releasing this Parfum. They've got a lot of other scents in the lineup that just maybe don't get the respect that necessarily they would like to get from the fragrance community. But this Parfum is a huge, huge improvement. This one has juniper, orange blossom, and patchouli. I believe there are a few other notes in here as well, some more woods to go along with that. I think a vetiver potentially, and then there's a couple other things, but of all of the notes that they list off, those are the ones that I tend to focus on and pick up on the most. So it has something more of a different texture about it that is hard to describe, and I've always struggled to describe it ever since I first smelled it. And so I would say try it. Get your nose on it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It has this different type of smell to it. And again, it's mostly the texture that just, man, it smells nice. It's not bubblegummy, but it has this type of bubbliness to it, is what I would say. A little bit of a bubbly nature, the slightest bit of a fizzy type of undertone, and then you get into the woods. You get into kind of the aromatic touches of this one as well. It smells really, really nice. We're talking ultimate versatility. We're talking a true parfum, so a great performer and a great compliment puller as well. And price has dropped dramatically. You can get 3-ounce testers with a cap like this for 80 bucks right now. They don't have a ton in stock, but I'll have it linked down below. Other than that, if you miss out on that price, the 100 ml full presentation, 88 bucks. It retails for mid 150 range or something. So, I mean, the prices have really come down to a very reasonable point, and in the $80 range for this, that's a great, great price. Hugo Boss Bottled Elixir is up next. Man, this one got so popular along with Boss Bottled Absolute for great reason. And so Boss Bottled Absolute could be in this video as well. It's also a very strong performer, but yet so is this one. And really for me, I kind of go back and forth between them. My pick at the end of the day in terms of my favorite would be Absolute. If I could only choose one, that's what I would pick. But I still like Elixir, and so I try to give both of them, you know, wearing experiences and also just time on the channel, because I don't think we should completely forget about the Elixir. This one has frankincense, patchouli, cedarwood, and cardamom. Smoky, resinous, sweet, woody, and mature. This is just unlike any other Boss Bottled we've ever had. Same with the Absolute. These two are complete superstars, really. They stand out so much within the lineup, and honestly, I would say that the two of these are two of Hugo Boss's best releases ever, like nearly. They're that good. Now, this one is an Elixir, which is a parfum, and the Absolute is also a parfum, so they didn't skimp out on the concentration either. Great performance here. Not going to have any issues with that, and it's great for fall and winter. Running down to the end, we have kind of a daring one. Tobacco Oud by Tom Ford. Has tobacco, oud, and whiskey. Man, this is not for the faint of heart. I'll just say that. Not everybody's going to like this. In fact, plenty of people just might hate it. So with the price this one goes for, probably not the best blind buy unless you really know what you like. You know, when we were talking about easy to wear oud earlier, this is, not so easy to wear oud. I mean, really the oud actually isn't horrible, but it's so sweet from the tobacco and the whiskey as well. And the oud itself is a very, very sweet oud. Everything about this one is just sweet and heavy and thick smelling, which sounds really weird, but when you smell this one, it's like, man, you know, this stuff does not hold back in the slightest. Last up for this video, we have Dior Fahrenheit Le Parfum. So it takes that original violet leaf, fresh, kind of watery smell, and then adds in a little bit of like a suede leather combination and rum. So you get a nice booziness and a heavier, sweeter base overall, which is really, really good and was a great idea because that original Fahrenheit, just fresh pretty much from start to finish, fresh and kind of ozonic. This one still has that portion, but just makes it more of a fall and winter base scent and greatly improves the performance. Again, this is coming in at a Parfum concentration here, so you do get that really strong, long-lasting longevity and a really nice heavy trail as well. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. Some of the longest lasting designer fragrances you can buy. Links will be down below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.